This episode of the Jambags podcast is brought to you by Bull Peter's Energy Drink. It is the absolute #1 energy drink for when you have to fuck people up. My name is Cody Prestige and I recommend it thoroughly. I cannot get an erection and all my teeth have fallen out. However, I can kill people on my games with this stuff. So get out there and drink it.
Okay, welcome to episode 2 of Jambags Gaming Podcast with my colleague here, Dante Rodriguez.
And my esteemed colleague, Mr. Rudy Manchego.
Thank you very much. So we are pretty much now other sides of the country. This is the second episode, the difficult follow-up to the first smash hit Jambags Gaming Podcast. We've taken
the first one went so very viral.
Yeah, it's pretty much exploded. It's like the what was the ice bucket? It was the ice bucket challenge. It's like that, but slightly wetter, I suppose.
Yeah, Rudy Manchego's Dirty Water Challenge.
Yeah, very dirty water challenge. So let's have a quick recap. We talked about last week. Had a few guests on. We talked a few things. We've had some feedback from some listeners. We have had some listeners. We're going to try and improve the audio quality a bit. So hopefully it's going to sound a bit better, even though we are working remotely. We've taken on board some feedback and suggestions. We've cut some bits, trimmed some things. In podcast terms, not on us, and hopefully it'll be a little bit leaner today. But overall, we enjoyed the first one. It's gone out, and we'll recap at the end on where you can listen to us and where you can get in contact with us if you want to. So, without further ado,
Peter Mollies is going to have his game to us any day now.
Yeah, he hasn't responded to my emails since we went live with it, so I don't know.
He's busy watching Bargain Hunt, right?
Well, there was a new season started, I think, so yeah, probably.
Bobby Dazzlers,
indeed. So, one thing I want to say, Dan, you got an email from you earlier today that said you want to talk about something pretty personal on the podcast.
Yeah.
So, I want to just, open up to you and say, I'm here for you, man. So what do you want to talk about? I understand we've all got lots going on in our personal lives. We've got a lot going on at work. Just lay it on me. What have you got for me?
Well, I think now that we have this awesome platform, we can reach millions of people. A few. I think it's time that we raise an issue that is not really given much credence in modern society, and that is something that I revealed to you in the last podcast, and something that is very personal, and something that I get a lot of ridicule about in my gaming colleagues, and that is the fact that I am an invertee.
An invertee, sorry. What do you mean?
It means that when I play a game, I have to go into the options and change the Y-axis setting to inverted as opposed to normal, because apparently we invertees are not normal, which I think is just complete bollocks.
So, sorry, it's straight in my head. When you said you want to talk about something really personal and serious and you wanted to get out in public, you were talking about your control scheme on your gamepad.
I think it's pretty serious, to be honest. Are you saying it's not quite such a big issue?
Well, I mean, I kind of thought it was a bit more juicy than that, to be honest. I mean,
I thought you of all people would understand this shit, man.
I just didn't think it was I just play the games as they're meant to be played, like the default option. Surely that's what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, if you're not doing it, you kind of...
Oh, I see. So when you play a PC game, you're a WASD or nothing kind of guy, are you?
PC games are a bit different, but you like to invert controls on consoles as well. So, it's kind of your own problem, isn't
it? I think that my inverted nature is something that needs to be taken allowances for. I mean, I really used to like on the 360 that I could set that up as the default option, so I didn't get any kind of this bullshit from other people. But since the Xbox One came out, I don't know if it happens on the PlayStation. You no longer have that option.
Well, I wouldn't know my PlayStation because I'm normal.
Dude. Yeah,
I'm just saying, play them as they're meant to be played. You know what I mean? I'm all for accessibility, but this just seems like a bit of Bit of a non-issue, don't you think?
It is not my fault that the first games I played were flight sims. Just nothing but flight sims. That was all I was allowed to play.
Well, I mean, I just don't know. Was it really worthy of the podcast? I mean, what are you going to do with this? What's the point of it?
It is attitudes like this that make this the big issue that is completely swept under the carpet that this should be. I think that it's high time that I took this to, I was going to say Washington, but we don't live in that country, do we? We live in...
No, I don't. I mean, tweeting might work.
Tweeting? Well, maybe. But I think it is time that I spoke to some of those charitable types in music land and Hollywood and all those kind of things. I think that this is an issue that needs to go all the way to the government. And we need to make sure that when inverters use a controller, that controller is instantly ready for people like me who need it a different way.
You mean invertards? I mean, that's kind of what you guys are called on the internet. Invertards.
Just shut it, you fucking norm.
Upside down bellends. Wibbly wobbly, can't play. That's the kind of things that get thrown around. It's, just deal with it, right? Seriously, this is a podcast. We're talking about this on a podcast. I mean, I think we probably...
I'll tell you what. I'll come over there and invert your fucking face.
And I think we'll go to the first segment.
I think that's a fucking good idea.
Yeah.
So, moving on from that incredibly sensitive portrayal of my inverted nature, we're now moving on to Straight from the Jambags. This is a section where we go through some of the really highly pressing news stories from the last month of gaming. So we've got a number of stories, a number of headlines for you here, and we're going to start off with a story that Rudy has brought us about Call of Duty.
Yeah, so you might have heard recently there's going to be Black Ops 4, I think it is this year, coming out this year from Activision Blizzard. Pretty typical, one of the cyclical, they sort of got 3 studios that cycle through the Call of Duty games, different studio picks one up. So this year, I think, I can't remember who it is doing Black Ops 4. What they've done with Black Ops 4 is they're saying that it's going to have a no single player campaign. It's going to just be multiplayer only. Rumours of a Battle Royale mode, obviously. But what I've got exclusively is what we're looking forward to Black Ops 5, which will be, I think, 2021. Okay, so I've got an insider, because they work on these games. They finish one, they move on to the next one. They've got people pre-prepping the next one while they're concluding, going through the QA process. We have
actual inside contacts on these games.
Respected gaming journalist, Shally Chalkscuffle, friend of the podcast, friend to us, sent me a memo that she's got from Activision Blizzard that suggests that for Black Ops 5, there'll be no gameplay at all. What they're going to strip out of it is everything except for a storefront where you can upgrade your character with custom skins, custom weapons, and then just watch them dance about a bit. Or, in the exact words of the memo, prance about. So, if I just quickly give you a quick quote, Dante, from the actual memo itself that I've got, it says, "It has become clear from market research that gamers have become disconnected with gameplay and are now looking more for the social enterprise sector for their gaming pleasure. By removing gameplay, we can reduce overheads whilst maximising player engagement."
Well, so we are through the looking glass here.
We can see where gamers going with this one. I don't want to dwell on it too much. I'll let it sink in. But if you're a gamer that enjoyed the multiplayer aspect, that's going. Single player is going this year. Multiplayer is going in 2021. You are just going to be walking up and down and buying skins from the storefront if you're virtually shopping. And that is the future of COD.
It is pure microtransaction nirvana. I love it.
I know, that's what we're talking about. Now, over to you. You've got a bit of news legislation from the Netherlands, I believe.
Yeah, no, there is yet more passing tide in the war on microtransactions. Heard about some of the bits of legislation from various parts of Europe. Kind of Belgium, I think, is at the forefront of this, but none of them has quite gone as far as the Netherlands. That says if a developer decides to add microtransactions and loot boxes into their games, they'll be taken out into the street and stoned to death, and not in the nice, friendly, Netherlandy kind of way where they just kind of get stoned. This is with actual stones.
Good Lord. I mean, this is an escalation, isn't it? It reminds me a little bit of the Untouchables. Sean Connery was just like, you put a knife, he pulls your gun. You show him one of your
That's the Chicago way.
Exactly. It feels a little bit like, well, loot boxes come out and they're going to legislate against it. They're still making loot boxes. They're going to kill people. They're going to execute people. It is escalated quickly.
I think so. I mean, there's a lot about the influence that gaming journalists like us who've railed against this for quite some time, or, well, one podcast, in order to kind of get these kind of results. And it's just nice to see some results, some actual kind of changes in terms of how developers approach these types of games. It's nice. Okay, maybe it's a little bit on the extreme side, being stoned to death in the street, but hey,
we're not fans of violence, but we're not fans of microtransactions, and loot boxes. So what are you going to do?
I think I'll take the violence, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it's justified completely.
All right. Well, over to Rudy, who has some more news about some Battle Royale games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about a Battle Royale game. That's what we're talking about. It's 2018. It's Battle Royale. Fortnite's top of the charts and everything. PUBG's behind it. People are racing to get their own Battle Royale genres out there. Rumour has it that a small studio based in the UK is making their own Battle Royale game, but this time using procedural generation. Trying to get something a little bit new out there. We're talking like No Man's Sky. We're talking like some of some of those games where you get endless levels like Binding of Isaac, procedurally generated. And what they're saying is that it's going to be huge. The arena that you play in is going to be huge. And in fact, it's going to be so large and procedurally generated that the chances of meeting a player are approximately 400,000 to 1. And you can play for several weeks before even encountering another player in the Battle Royale. So it's going to be one for those people that like to put a lot of time into their games. You have to be plugged in for potentially weeks, months, to actually even kill another person and get that 99 players down to 1.
That sounds exciting as hell.
I mean, it's an interesting mix of the open world genre and Battle Royale. I fear that maybe there's a little bit more time for people than they need, but you got to stand out in the marketplace at the moment. Battle Royale's the thing, and Fortnite have got the cartoony graphics and has really got the stranglehold. PUBG's going for the more accurate aim. If COD follows suit, which they're rumoured to, what are you going to do to differentiate yourself? Well, you go procedural generation, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, No Man's Sky did it so well, and nobody was upset with that game whatsoever. So, how can it go wrong here?
Absolutely. So, I mean, fair play to them. Hopefully, it gets them the headlines, gets them what they need. Now we've got a bit of news here from Novigrad going into Witcher 3 world. So I thought it'd be interesting just to pick up, because you've got your ear to the ground of what's going on in Fantastical Worlds. What's this I hear about prostitution?
Well, yeah, there is a reasonable amount of that. If you had played more of The Witcher 3, you would know more about the world that surrounds it. But again, not that I would frequent any of these establishments myself, but yeah, the word from the characters in The Witcher 3 world is that there is to be a blanket across the board increase in the price of Ladies of the Night in the world of Novigrad, the main city of The Witcher 3.
And how's that going down in terms of clientele, people, residents and stuff like that? Is it a popular move or is it unpopular?
It is not the most popular move we have ever heard. I think there are quite a few people, including Geralt of Rivia himself, the man, the myth, the legend, has staged a one-man protest and is standing outside the King's Palace. Outside the King's Palace, and he has got a big placard saying, "I want those hoes to be cheapers," hoping that the King will reverse this decision and stop adding the hoe tax, as it's going to be called.
That's an interesting one from movement from Geralt there, because typically seen as a man of action. I mean, obviously he likes to get paid for action. I mean, that's what a Witcher does, and he's now deciding to peacefully protest outside the King's
he likes
Palace
to pay for to get some action, to be honest. I mean, I'm pretty sure Yennefer or Triss, they're pretty okay with that, depending on which one he ends up with at the end of the game. They seem quite liberal when it comes to letting Geralt go off to the brothels all the time.
Just so you know, Team Yennefer. That's what I'm saying.
Team Triss, man. What the hell?
No. We'll take that one offline, but I'm telling you right now, for those of you who've
Fiery
not played The
redheads
Witcher 3
all the
or any of
way.
the Witcher games, you guys just need to just Google it, but not at work.
Yeah, cosplay is a wonderful thing.
I wouldn't know. Maybe I've dressed up as Jennifer a couple of times. I think that pretty much concludes our gaming section for today. So, should we move on?
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on.
All right, it's time for the Jammers. This is a section of the podcast where we get to meet a real-life gamer, someone with kind of views maybe a little different to our own, someone who's got different gaming experiences, and just kind of find out a bit more about people that listen to the podcast. So I'd like to introduce everybody out there to Gus Van Ploots. Hello, Gus.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, very nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, where do you live, Gus?
I actually live just outside of London, in a little suburb just in Southwark. Got a little flat there with my on-off girlfriend, so that's where I live.
All right, thank you very much. So tell me a bit about the games you like to play. What was the last game that you played, Gus?
Oh man, it's a tough one. I think the last game I played was probably Sandra's Embarrassment. It's a small indie game from an independent studio. It's a POV game where you experience Sandra's IBS firsthand through a collection of mini games. It's really insightful. You really get an idea of what it would be like to be someone that suffers from IBS. I don't. My bowel movements are pretty regular. I don't get any pain, but if they were, and this is what it really gives you that insight, and you just don't really get that in mainstream games.
No. I mean, how do you manage the bowel movements in the game? Is there a kind of gameplay mechanic that helps you do that?
Yeah, actually, it's really good. There's some element of motion controls. If you've got a motion controller, so that's great. So you can really force it out and clench harder with it. But if not, you can use like a traditional controller setup. Or if you're playing on PC, you can use a keyboard as well. Where it's about how much pressure you apply before you can squeeze one out. And then it's also about making sure you're taking medicine on time, making sure that you don't, eat too much spicy food, that kind of thing. So, scenarios when you go to a curry restaurant and you just have to just make sure you watch what's on the menu. So, I really can't emphasize what a great little game. It was made by one guy who suffers from IBS, and I really felt that came across in the game.
Yeah, that sounds like a great one. No, we'll certainly look that one up. So in terms of gaming genres, what kinds do you tend to prefer? What genre of games really does it for you?
I mean, if I'm going to say something to you, Dante, I don't really like the term genre because genres don't really help. They're just labels for things, really. It's about the experience. Life isn't like a genre. You don't have a genre of getting up in the morning. And so, to me, the best gamers have no genre, because they can't be put into one box. If they put into that box, they probably get out of the box again afterwards.
That's pretty deep stuff. Thank you very much, Gus. Yeah. So you would say, and we've had conversations before, that your primary focus is indie games. What do you think the most iconic indie games are? Which ones kind of really fly the flag for indie games?
I could be here all day, but if I really had to sum up that quintessential indie experience, there's games like Puzzle Dong, puzzle game using sex toys, ironically using sex toys to really strip away what it is to be, the masculine power in a sexual relationship. Dear Santa, a game about a boy who gets no gifts at all from Santa and really just follows his emotional devastation on Christmas Day because his dad's an alcoholic and his mum stopped himself. I quite like Schwartz Famalam, Bing Bong.
I've played that one.
It's another 8-bit classic kind of retro style platformer, but so difficult you can't get past the first jump. And sometimes I've been a bit crazy and I've had a few drinks. I quite like Overkill Death Ninja Poop Warrior. That's a top-down twin stick shooter, which ironically has no guns or death in it. You just run around getting shot, which again just totally subverts the genre. All of them in 8-bit art styles and have retro sounds. It sounds like someone's having a wee on a Casio keyboard.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, I'm definitely going to look some of those up. Thank you very much. One I did get around to play was Achy Balls. Did you play that one? That was the walking simulator that actually makes your feet tired.
I played that till they bled, to be honest. It's interesting because when the game came out, I was supposed to go the weekend. It came out on the Friday. I was supposed to be going away with my on-off girlfriend. We're kind of seeing each other, but kind of not. And we were going to go walking for the weekend, like tramping out the countryside. But basically, as I said, I've got too much to do, and I stayed there and I walked around the walking simulator until I got blisters on my virtual feet, which then translated into the real world. So an amazing experience. Just sat in my room in the dark. I felt so alive and so with nature. It was amazing. I mean, yeah, what a great experience. I mean, that was just. Yeah. I mean, some people don't like this kind of games, but that's what it's about for me. That's what it's about.
It sounds like it was a transcendental experience for you.
Completely. I had like some candles on and stuff as well, so I really felt that I was outside, but with candles.
Nice. So again, this is quite worlds away from maybe the kind of games that I or my colleague Rudy might play. And would you ever consider picking up a copy of one of the Call of Duty games or Grand Theft Auto or something like Assassin's Creed?
I mean, you call those games, but to me they don't really register as games. I mean, they're just killing and flashy graphics. There's no retro in that at all. And if they are retro, they're not retro enough. Who wants to just run around shooting someone's head off and having fun with friends and enjoying it? I want stories. They have stories that you can follow. They have narrative tales, beginning, middle, and end. I don't want that in a game. It's not really what a game's about to me. Games aren't like real life, but they are like real life, but they're not. So take the Japanese serial Shiruto Button Plug. The whole story is dissected into 30-second segments, and no characters appear more than once. It's completely baffling. You've got no idea what's happening, and it takes 79 hours to get past the prologue. I mean, that's just amazing. It's not just run, bang, bang, have fun. You've got to suffer through that game, and that makes you feel something. So if you ask me if I'd ever play Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto, no. I mean, unless it was ironically, but that's the only time I would.
Yeah, I agree. I think that fun and enjoyment is probably overrated in video games as a whole. So yeah, and I think that's a valid viewpoint. Final question, slightly out of the way of the gaming. Do you prefer spinach or kale?
Oh, God. You know what? You are basically describing my perfect smoothie. I have like half a pint of that a day, and it just does wonders for me. My skin and my complexion. I mean, I haven't passed a solid in about 3 months, but it's all been liquid. But I feel pretty good actually. So any of the listeners out there are wanting to put on an indie game and really, really loosen themselves up, I just recommend a bit of spinach and a bit of kale blended together with a little bit of diazepam. It's fantastic.
I mean, we can't really promote that too high because this podcast, as you probably heard, is sponsored by Bull Penis Energy Drink.
Oh, no.
Would you ever consider picking up a crate of that?
Ironically, yeah, but I mean, to be honest, no, because most of the games I play send you to sleep, so what would be the point?
Gus Van Poots, thank you very much for joining us in the studio today. I really got a lot out of your input into games, and happy gaming for the foreseeable future for you.
Yeah, great. Thanks very much for having me. I might listen to this podcast, ironically. Hi there, everyone. We've got a special treat for you today. We've got our roving reporter, Jeremy Hardmeat. Now, he's actually embedded deep within an in-game world right now. We're able to talk to him live from the streets of Los Santos. So, Jeremy, you're on the streets of Los Santos right now. What's happening?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, you're coming through faintly. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, tidy. So, I was hanging out in Los Santos, having a bit of see what it's about. Having a bit of a lovely drive around. Just going for a bit of a stroll, really. Couple of coppers giving me some jet, but I think it's tidy.
What did you do? Why did you manage to get out of the policemen? Obviously, the police are a major factor on the streets of Los Santos. Had any issues with them?
Well, they seem pretty picky, if I'm honest. I'm just going for a bit of a stroll through the army base, and they weren't too keen on that. So just mainly running away right now. They're pretty resourceful, if I'm honest. Like they don't seem to give up that easy. But yeah, I was going to have a bit of see what's going on. There's a few people. You know what? The people in here, they're no respect. I tell you that now. Like I was just popping down. There's this person, no respect for the Green Cross Code. Oh, there he is again, straight past me. Not even stopping at the red lights, and the police are giving me trouble for this. And like I'm just driving around.
So hold on, are you being chased by the police right now?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's okay. Like it's pretty scary because like they're shouting and everything. Can you hear them? Can you hear them shouting?
Yeah, I can hear something. I can hear some gunshots.
Yeah, oh no, hang on now. Oh no, hang on. I need to get somewhere safe now. This is really dangerous. Oh dear. Oh no, it's okay. I lost them. They're gone. They are.
What about pedestrians?
That was easy. That was a lot easier than I expected. They were like right up on me, like shooting guns and everything, and now they're gone.
Oh.
I'm gonna see what this. Right, I'm gonna hop out my car and have a look. Hello, how you doing? Right, that's stupid. Oh shit.
What's happening now? What's happening now? Describe.
I shot them, and I. Oh no. Oh, I shot them. Hang on, let me get. I got an axe. Let me get my axe. Yeah. Oh no. Oh, I'm beating them up with my axe. I am. I didn't mean to. I think I did the wrong bloody button. But here we go. Right, coppers. Axe. Oh, he's got a shotgun. Oh, that's not fair. Sorry, I got an axe. Here we go. Oh shit. Oh no.
What's happened? Tell me. Keep me updated.
Oh, I've got a real problem here. I've just been shot with a shotgun and I'm dead.
Oh, that's terrible. I mean, does this kind of thing happen a lot in Los Santos?
Well, from what I can see, the death toll in Los Santos is actually relatively high. I mean, I've been on here for 15 minutes now and I've died 5 times. And I've been on holiday to many destinations before and I've never died 5 times in 15 minutes. Oh shit, I'm getting beaten up again. Oh, hang on. Right, there's a guy here, he's giving me trouble, but it's okay.
Jeremy, are you okay? Are you safe?
I mean, safe wouldn't be the word I'd use. Oh no, it's this guy with a shotgun. It's the same copper. He's come back to get me.
Police brutality? Are you accusing police brutality?
Definitely. Hang on, I'm going to steal his car.
But that's going to exacerbate things, won't it?
No, it's fine. So, you see, when you're in Los Santos, it's okay to kind of do that sort of thing. Hang on now. Oh, no. So you'll never guess what's happened now, Rudy.
What's going on?
Like, literally, last I've been on this phone to you. The police are after me again. And they've got guns. Hang on, I'm just going to shoot them back. There we go. Joining in. Oh, headshot. It's okay. Headshot. It's fine. Run away. Oh, no. Is a helicopter coming now? Oh, no.
So, I mean, just quickly, you sound like your hands full, but would you recommend Los Santos as a holiday destination, as somewhere to go? Would you advise my listeners to go there?
You know what? The beach is absolutely lovely. It's a little bit busy, and you do tend to get the odd little rampage. But as a destination, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I'm going to hop down the beach now, see what it's like. There's slight problem with the beach, guys. Bit of a gang warfare going on. What my recommendation really for Los Santos would be, like, go for a lovely time, lovely scenery. Just, take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, sure. Take it chill. Don't perhaps. What happened there? What's that noise?
I just run about 30 people over. I think they're all dead. Hang on, no, now they're all dead. Sorry, I got out and shot them with my machine gun. Oh, there's a helicopter. Oh dear. It's okay.
Okay, I think I'm breaking up. I think I can hear gunfire. I think you're breaking up now. Jeremy, I can't. You're going.
It's really quite scary, if I'm honest.
Are you okay?
Oh, it's really quite scary. They've got a SWAT team and everything.
Oh, wait,
I want to go home.
Oh.
I want to go home now.
Okay, you're breaking up. I can't. Right then, so on to our gaming backlog blue balls. This is the segment of the podcast where we talk about what we're playing, and equally what we're not playing, and what's on our backlog, what we're doing. Now, this is a bit of an interesting one this week because we've been, in a cooperative manner, playing together this week.
We absolutely have, yes.
So we've put a couple of blog posts on it on our website, which you can check out. But we've been playing A Way Out, EA-sponsored indie dev game from, is Joseph something. Can't remember his name now.
It is definitely Joseph something. Whoever made Brother: A Tale of Two Sons.
Yeah, so this well-researched segment here, where I talk about it, you can check the website, we'll talk a bit more about it. But we've been playing that online co-op quite late at night, so we haven't got through the whole game yet. So that's what we've been playing. Anything else?
A big step for me, because I really hate playing cooperative games and multiplayer. Again, anyone who's read the blog will say that, that Dante, antisocial gamer.
Yeah, and it was a bit for us, I think, as people that were gaming together for a long time, it was a bit of a throwback to, we used to spend a lot of time doing co-op gaming whenever we used to meet up. We used to meet up a lot more before we, had kids and all those kind of things. And co-op was, split screen shooters, split screen games like Portal 2, that kind of thing, which you mentioned in your blog post.
No, we played GoldenEye a few times, didn't we? Round at one of our other GoldenEye places.
What else did you play? Destruction Derby on the old PlayStation 1.
Oh yeah.
A couple of Soul Calibur games as well.
Yeah.
Playing those kind of things.
Beat 'em ups, not too bad for that.
We don't really do it now. And to be honest, the market's changed, and people, game manufacturers aren't doing that. So that was good. Is there anything else you've been playing, Dante?
When I've not been playing A Way Out along with you, Rudy, I have been playing Mass Effect Andromeda.
So you kicked it off. I
did. I kicked it off. I went into space. I'm mostly here because of franchise or brand loyalty. So I really love the other Mass Effect games, and it's hard to kind of really love this game. But I don't hate it either. It's nowhere near as good as the Mass Effect trilogy, but it's just missing something. The music's maybe not as good, and despite the fact that you're in this completely different galaxy, kind of exploring for a new home for humans, which you think it would be an incredibly epic thing to do, it just doesn't have that sense of scale that the other ones did.
And have they fixed the wonky animations? Because that was the big launch thing, wasn't it?
Oh god, yeah. To a certain extent, it's better than I looked at people like Yongye who would post comparison videos. That's kind of how I started watching Yongye on YouTube, compared to the various different patches that started coming out, and it's improved quite a bit. But yeah, there's still something of it in the character's eyes where you don't quite see them focusing directly on your character. It's a bit odd, and okay, you can fix the animation as much as you like, but some of the pretty subpar voice acting, there's no way to fix that.
Even Natalie Dormer can't save it of Game of Thrones.
Natalie.
Okay, so let's move on there. I've been playing in between Way Out, God of War, PlayStation.
Oh yes.
PlayStation 4 exclusive.
You have a PlayStation, you lucky.
And it's a game actually when it came out, obviously got rave reviews at launch. It looks amazing. I started playing it. I'd actually played all three previous games. God of War 1 and 2 on Vita, and I played God of War 3 on PS4, the remaster. And I picked this up. It's very different, and I was like, this is good, but I'm not sure why everyone's giving it all the lavish praise. Like it's a really, really good single-player game. But then it clicked story-wise about probably getting close to quarter of the way through, and I also realised I was hoovering up all the side quests and not really getting on with the story, so I was probably over leveling a bit early. But it clicked, and then I was absolutely in love with it. And I will say that, just briefly, you can throw your axe in it and you can recall it, and it will hit enemies on the way back, and it's possibly the most satisfying game mechanic I've ever played outside of VR. It's amazing. I've just been throwing my axe at anything I can.
Sounds like if they were going to make a game about Thor from the Avengers.
It is exactly like being like Thor, and and for anyone that's seen the latest Avengers film, not to ruin anything, but there's some scenes that is exactly like Thor. So that's what I'm playing. But have a quickly think about what you're not playing. What have you picked up that you aren't playing because of this?
Okay, well I've installed, because my backlog is sort of quite a lot of it's digital, and because of all the kind of trailers about State of Decay 2 coming out, I've installed State of Decay 1, which I never got around to playing, when I bought it on special quite a few months ago, and it's still waiting there for me to go in and play it. Everyone tells me that it's great. It's kind of like a combination between like a management kind of game, managing your resources, and something like Walking Dead with a big open world, GTA kind of environment to look around. Everyone says it's really good, and I should try it. But like I said, I've enjoyed those that are co-op gaming and exploring other universes at the moment. But yeah, State of Decay 2. It's reasonably priced. It's only like £25 for a brand new game. Or if you've got the Xbox Game Pass, it comes with that because it's an Xbox exclusive. But yeah, that's a game that I would like to be playing that I just don't have time for at the moment.
And for myself, I'm going to probably go with what's going to be a recurrent theme, which is that I am slowly playing Skyrim on Switch. I really enjoy the port. It's great. It's perfectly suited, but I just haven't put enough time into it. I've probably put about 6-7 hours, and I keep putting it down and picking up God of War, and I keep, even though it's portable, I just haven't had the time to get into it.
It's on the Switch. You can take it wherever. You can.
I know, but apparently I have to sleep, and I get in trouble for playing the Switch in bed, or when I'm looking after children.
Play at work, then, man. Seriously,
and at work,
get your priorities right.
Well, people from work might listen to this, but just in case. But I've thought about it. That's how desperate I'm getting to play it. So I think when God of War's done, I'm going to try and get another 10-15 hours into it, just so I can get past all the early story stuff. It's looking like a great game. It does suit the Switch really well. So
the Skyrim remastered version for the Xbox One is also part of my backlog. So it'd be cool if we could. Yeah, I know. But it would be quite cool if we started it at roughly the same time, and we could compare our experiences, especially with the Switch port being maybe a slight downgrade in terms of graphics, but in terms of playability, it's just as good.
I've seen the remastered version playing on screen, and I've seen people playing the Xbox 360 version. I'd say it's between the two. It's better than. It's really weird, actually. It looks better on the handheld, even though it's lower res, than it does playing on the TV. I don't know whether because it blows up the imperfections a bit, but it works really well as a handheld. So that's it. And I imagine I'll be talking about it again next podcast and the podcast after that as well.
Get on with it.
Okay, then. So I think those are our blue balls for this podcast.
Blue they are.
So now we have Industry Jam for you, which is a segment where we are going to move on and talk to someone that works in the game industry. Last podcast it was Developer Jam, but today we've got a bit of a treat, really. We've kind of got maybe not a competitor, but someone that's in the same marketplace as us. We have Gene Sterning, famed critic, famed blogger, famed, I suppose, just general gaming personality. He talks a lot about how they feel about games, puts out a lot of content on social media and video platforms like YouTube, has a lot to say and a strong opinion, but has really become a pretty solid voice on the industry. So we're very lucky to get Gene with us today. So I'm not going to waffle on too much. I've really got a bunch of questions I want to talk to, a little bit about Gene's past, how Gene feels about games. So I'm going to go straight into that interview. And welcome on the podcast, Gene. So thank you very much for being with us. Thanks for gracing a lowly podcast like ours with your presence.
Rudy, it's a fucking pleasure.
A pleasure to you too, sir. I'm going to start really with I want to delve a bit into your past here. So, I suppose...
You go right ahead.
I mean, you started, I guess, back in the golden age of like games journalism. You worked on magazines and the early websites and blogs. So we're talking classics like Nintendo Powerpuff, Edgy Bastard, Clockwork Orangutan.
I was a founding member of Clockwork Orangutan,
Well, yeah. So I heard that, but I mean, you kind of quit that mainstream journalism, and what was the reason for that?
Well, I felt that the mainstream journalism was not really focusing on me as a showman as much as I would like it to. I felt that the AAA gaming that they wanted to cover was not really kind of focused in a Sterning kind of direction.
And I mean, it's interesting you say that, Gene, if you don't mind me asking, because I mean, from what I understand, Edgy Bastard You were too edgy for Edgy Bastard. They sacked you from that one. They didn't want you in there.
They kicked me out. They thought I was too much of had too much bastard edginess for them to really fit in their magazine, which was sort of ironic, I think.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I suppose be sacked from a job where you're too edgy for a magazine called Edgy Bastard, says something about your style and your presence.
I take no prisoners, mate.
Well, fair enough. I mean, no fairer than that. One of the things you talk most about is, what's wrong in the current gaming market. You talk mainly about what's wrong, and well, I'd say exclusively about what's wrong. But if you could put your finger on the pulse of what's wrong with the gaming industry right now, what is it that's going to make you the most angry?
I'd say a big old helping of industry bullshit is really what is wrong with the gaming industry at this particular moment in time. Money grabbing, cash grabbing, penny grabbing, and generally trying to make games into a full service gaming where you end up paying and paying and paying, and there's no actual game there. There's no. It's just meaningless grind, and I don't like meaningless grind. I want to be able to really get my teeth into a game,
But I mean, what would you say to those people that playing devil's advocate, say things like, I enjoy the grind, or they're only cosmetic, or that kind of thing? What would what's your opinion on that?
I tell them to fuck off. Thank God for me.
Well, that's very direct.
Well, I think the people that enjoy that kind of grind, I think they are the worst kind of gamer. The ones that want to have their kind of minds numbed. I play games to escape from the norm of everyday life. I want to go to these amazing worlds and do great things in there. I don't want to kind of go there and kind of dig up shit for 20 minutes, 2 hours a day.
Okay, I mean, that's an interesting one. These kind of comments, make you quite controversial because, some might say you're in a minority. A lot of these games make a lot of money.
It's all fucking about money.
But isn't that, we live in the West, it's a capitalist society. Isn't that what game companies are here to do? I mean, no one's doing it for free, are they?
I think that the main problem is that the AAA gaming people are generally in favour of treating gamers as cattle, not like actual people who have a kind of input into a game. It's kind of cattle to be squeezed, but not to be milked of actual milk. It's to have my nipples tugged and my money removed from my nipples, and that is not something as a gamer that I think should be allowed to continue.
To be quite clear, you're saying that as a gamer, you don't want your nipples tweaked or milked?
Absolutely not. I could pay good money for that to happen somewhere else. If I'm going to pay money for a game, I want it to be something that I enjoy a little bit more than nipple tweaking, like a reach around. So, I
mean, moving on now from the state of the industry, but you work exclusively on YouTube and all other platforms like it, like Vimeo and so on. Why are you on such a digital platform? Why have you eschewed traditional media and that kind of thing?
Because it allows me to be the showman that I feel the internet deserves. They kind of give you the full, stunning experience of what I'm like. Again, it's pure, unfiltered, gene-stunning craziness. And I think that digital platforms like YouTube allow that to really take place. If I went through a mainstream media outlet, I would be kind of forced to kind of pull back on really kind of making sure that people know that modern games are shit, and then that I'm awesome.
Well, okay. I mean, going back to your showmanship, element you talked about there. It said, you put an awful lot of time into a lot of your videos. There's characters, there's costumes, there's other skits. I mean, how much time and money does each your episode of your web series take to put together? Because it seems quite involved.
Well, I'm actually quite lucky that I've got a device that freezes time. So between every episode of the G Inquisition, it's basically I put sort of 3 or 4 years of effort into each one, and then kind of rehearsing each one of those characters, which takes a little bit of extra time. Adding extra boglins and various retro references. It's a 5-year process for each week of the G Inquisition.
And I suppose that would explain. I mean, that's interesting. That would explain why you are visibly aging in each of your videos. I mean, you must be now approaching, elderly age because of the amount of video content you're putting out.
Oh, it's exhausting, I tell you. But it's worth it to take one back against those AAA arseholes.
I mean, that's just fascinating. Time travel to get the production values. I mean, what a great idea. I mean, really, I've not seen that done before. And thanks for giving me a bit of a peek behind the curtain. And I think we're going to just round out today's question with, we've talked about what you hate about games, but tell me, what do you love about games?
Well, the thing I love most about games is, when you get a game that's right, you can really escape to that other world, to those other places where gaming, it's really the only kind of medium that can take you to some of these places. It's something that you just don't get in kind of films or kind of stories or anything like that. You can truly interact with with something completely different or alien to your normal surrounding. That's what I absolutely love about games. The thing that I hate most about them is, again, I think I've made my feelings quite clear about the money grabbing and all those sorts of things. So I just love how great it was before and I hate how shit things are now.
Okay, and now I am going to ask one question. It's not on script. It's not discussed it beforehand, so I apologise for leaving this on you. But
I don't know.
I feel like I have to ask this. As you might be aware, Jambags last week, we had Peter Molyneux on the show. Famous
He's a
game
good man.
developer.
I've interviewed him myself.
But you've had recently a bit of a beef with him. And I really wanted to, a bit of an internet beef. And I wanted to just kind of get to the bottom of why that was. I mean, you started off, as you said, he's a good man. Reviewed all of his early games favourably, but you've done a few of your videos now attacking him in a lot of ways. Could you just elaborate on that for us?
Well, I don't like to take my kind of personal battles to other people's podcasts, but yeah, I think I went onto my channel and called him out on some of the things in his games that were very much promised and really, quite truly, had not been delivered upon.
And would you say right now categorically that Peter Molyneux is a liar?
I would say he's a fucking liar and a charlatan. Absolutely.
Interesting. This is something we might see if we can develop in the future, because it would be great to get you both on the podcast and see if we can get a head-to-head match going. So let's see if we can arrange that for a future run.
Debate. I would relish that opportunity, sir.
Well, I mean, we'll see if we can reach out to Peter Molyneux, as I know that new series of Bargain Hunt's on, so you might not be into that right now, but let's see what we can do. And Gene, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. And
I have his personal email account if you don't want his business one. Twatfeatures@godcomplex.com.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And now all our listeners, if you want to email Peter Molyneux with your suggestions or complaints or refund requests, you now have his personal contact details. Thank you.
Yeah, fucking mail bomb him, the prick.
Thank you very much, Gene. Okay, so that was a great section. I'm just going to butt in here. It's Rudy Manchego. Now, Dante doesn't know I'm doing this, but today I want to do a world first for podcasting, okay? I'm going to do a Let's Play in virtual reality. Okay, now Dante said this wouldn't work. It was a stupid idea, but I think through the power of my voice and my voice alone, I can tell you guys exactly what it's like to be in a virtual reality world, okay, and what it's like to move and feel and how it makes me feel, okay? I'm going to really emote to everyone here, just really get something quite clear to you. Okay, so what I'm going to be playing is I've got my PlayStation VR here, I've got the big old Move controller with the pointy click sort of, control sticks and the gun. I'm going to play Doom VFR, which I think stands for Virtual Fudging Reality. I'm not sure on that one. What I'm going to do is strap myself in And I'm just going to describe everything that I'm seeing and feeling, okay, and how it's going. And then you guys can just really get the impact of that for those of you that haven't tried virtual reality. It's just the new medium. It's going to take over the world. It's going to be games will be beamed straight into our brains, okay? So just bear with me while I get set up, get the game on, okay? You might hear some background noise because it's me doing it on my own. I've got no assistance here. So here we go. So let's get the visor on. Okay, that's on there. Headphones in. Pew pew gun ready. Okay. Now, I've cut through all the boring bit at the start, so you don't have to listen to all the exposition in the game. This is going to be me interacting with the world, okay? So here we go. Okay, so I'm just firing some guns. Just looking at what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm just going to stand here and look at the world, and it's just immense, okay? It's just a huge futuristic world that I can see everywhere. Okay, now I'm gonna try and aim my gun around. Okay, wow, that's great. So I can see my gun moving around. As I do this, I can hear things in the background. It's got full 3D sound, so you can't hear it, but there are things crawling in the distance. There's monsters. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is engage a bit with the world. I'm going to move forwards. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly move the stick and... Okay, so I've just moved forwards and the world's going a bit dizzy. It's going to move to the right just 1 second and... Okay, no, so I'm really dizzy now. Okay, so let's move back to the left here and... Okay, so... I'm feeling a bit... Okay, so... I'm going to take 2 more steps forward and... Okay, let's just concentrate here. It's okay. I'm pretty experienced with VR. I don't really tend to get much... Okay, I'm fine. Don't worry about this, okay? This world is amazing. I'm just seeing so many things and, okay, there's something coming towards me. I'm just going to... Okay, I'm gonna... No, it's gonna... I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna take it off. Okay, Dante was right. And I think that just about wraps up Jambags episode 2. I know it's been pretty quick actually. We've cut things down a little bit from last time. It was getting a bit long, we thought. But I just wanted to sum up to say thanks to everyone.
That's what she
said. No one has ever said that to me, Dante. I'll tell you that right now. I want to thank everyone for listening to us. So thank you for the people that have listened to us and supported us so far. It's early days, tentative steps, but we have had some listeners. We have had some comments and some feedback. So thank you.
Especially appreciate anyone that has made it this far into the podcast.
Absolutely. I mean, analytics do suggest that people drop off as soon as I start talking. That's what I'm seeing from the analytics I've set up so far on the podcast. That it goes
That's
great.
when I start nodding off, to be fair.
I mean, yeah, that's why it takes so long to put these together, because I have to keep waking you up. It's really difficult. Oh, it's gone again. Anyway, let's say where people can reach us. So if you want to listen to the podcast, which you're not already, obviously, we're on iTunes. So Jambags. So just search for us there. Leave a review if you can. That'd be most appreciated. You can listen to us via our website, jambags.co.uk, which will have a player on there and a link through to previous episodes. We are looking to expand where we can host a podcast to a few other streaming and sites as well, but that's still in progress. Takes a bit longer. You can also get in contact with us.
You can talk to us on Twitter if you want to, at jambags_UK. You can find us there. Kind of hit us some abuse or feedback about the podcast, and you can also find us on Facebook at Jambags UK. Hit us up there. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. And we do put quite a lot of content on the blog. There's normally a few blog posts going out every week. Lots of waffly Twitter nonsense as well. So please do follow us and comment and like and subscribe and all those kind of things. And Yeah, so Dante, how do you think the second episode's gone so far? It's been difficult. It's late. We're caffeined up. How do you feel it's gone?
Did you stop recording? Because do we want the listeners to hear this bit?
Oh yeah, we completely I've stopped recording ages ago. I don't
fine. Oh, it's so exhausting. Oh, my balls are so wrinkly.
I was going to ask you that. I mean, do you find in this podcast that being sat down, your balls do get a bit more wrinkly than normal?
I'm so clenched. It's unbelievable.
Wait a sec, I'll just put up. We've got Skype on. I'll just put up to the camera, and I'll just see if I can just.
Really? Let me get the angle right on the camera for you. There. Take a look at that. Jeez.
Good. Okay. Well, I mean, I was worried about my balls being wrinkly, but you've really set the bar there for wrinkly balls. Have you used
it is
moisturizer?
like your granddad's head down there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's dead as well. So, well, I think it went pretty well. I'm glad I was listening to this bit, but
Okay. Yeah, no, that'd be good. All right. Well, let's go play some more games.
Let's do that. Catch you later, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Dante, I tried the VR thing in the end.
You did? Oh, really?
Yeah, it's had some.
So how did that go? How exactly did that go? How much vomit was there?
There was quite a lot. It really didn't go very well at all, to be honest. I was quite violently ill again.
How much of that vomit did you get on yourself?
I was pretty covered. It took me quite a while to clean it all up, to be honest. It was quite lumpy as well.
Really? Lumps?
Yeah.
And how many of those lumps ended up on your wife or her things?
Well, I was wearing her things, so most of them, to be honest. Yeah, okay. I think you might have been right, but I'm confident. I'm confident that I can come back and make it work next time. I think if I can just get the motion controls right and just maybe choose a different game, maybe going into that was a bad idea, but we could get something a little bit better.
It's an audio podcast. I'm not sure we can quite get the full feeling of VR across to our listeners that way.
But it sets us, but no one else is doing it. No one else is doing it. Come on, VR. Come on, man.
Yeah, well, I still you've still yet to let me have a go on your VR kit, which is probably for the best because I probably would vomit all over you if I did it. But really, you think you can make this work?
Yeah, absolutely.
You fucking better do.
Inverts hard.
Gotcha.